I call to order the Tuesday, January 7th, regular city council meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge. Okay, item 1.0, public comments and announcements. At this time, we'd like to listen to any member of the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 4 minutes for each speaker, shall be limited to city business or city-related business or matters of general public interest, and shall not include any personal attacks. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, members may not discuss or take action on any item that has not been posted on the agenda. When your name is called, please come to the podium, state your name and address clearly into the microphone before making your comments. Terry Moore.
Just like it worked. Terry Moore, 2709 North Meyer, Seabrook. My subject today is going to be traffic concerns and the new police facility. Since the changes to 146, our community has experienced a significant increase in traffic on North and East Meyer. As residents, we witness this daily. The traffic surge has created dangerous conditions for homeowners backing in and out of their driveways on East and North Meyer. Did you see the Corvette upside down in my neighbor's yard late, maybe it's October? Have you ever been passed on North or East Meyer? I have, multiple times. Have you ever been passed on Toddville? I have multiple times, and I bet most of you have as well. We need immediate action to address this situation. We need more police employees to create a stronger presence in the community. We need to improve our efficiency and safety and prevention. Vote yes to fund more police employees. Vote no to the new proposed police station. Focus on resources that directly impact safety and community well-being rather than expensive new police facility. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Gary Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, City staff, and Happy New Year. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm not going to do that again. My name is Gary Johnson. I live at 2300 West North, apartment 31101, Seabrook, Texas, 77586. I'm here tonight to address and comment on the location of the new police station. We seem to have council differences with the traffic circle location and the proposed alternate locations on State Highway 146 and Meyer Road. Let's look at the differences between the two. First and foremost, the land at the traffic circle is already owned by the city of Seabrook and is debt-free. Debt-free. Land equity is a real value and has potential for lower cost. The other major factor is building on city-owned property can enhance the development of the neighborhood. The land at State Highway 146 in Meyer has a price tag of $2.5 million. This means the city has to first negotiate to purchase the land through a bond, and the price of the land where the station will be built will significantly impact on the overall higher cost. So let's consider for a moment And let's assume that the voters decide State Highway 146 is a better option. But wait, is it really? According to Section 3.15 of the Comprehensive Land Use Matrix, the land at the traffic circle is approximately 156,499 square feet. According to the matrix, we have several conditional uses, such as axe throwing, bars, game rooms, a gas station, and music venue, all of which would never be built or allowed. Let's not forget the liquor store or the cigar lounge or the tobacco shop. Because of the location of the land, retail is probably never will happen, and here's why. Retail factors need the following: high visibility. Only lakeside visibility? Nah. Location accessibility. Both are critical to the success of a retail store. Demographics and target audience. Things like age, education level, income, gender, race, employment. That might work. Convenience is key. The ease and accessibility of purchasing goods and services. Zoning and regulations. Local laws that dictate what type of retail businesses can operate in a specific area. Traffic flow. Does golf carts meet this criteria? I don't think so. Market demand does not meet the definition of popular destinations. Visual representation is key. We already have a child care and a church, which are in the current matrix. Other permissible uses is a motion picture, pet shops, quick lube, music venue, and a convenience store in the current matrix, all of which would never be built. So let's not forget the old appliance store too. So do any of these uses make sense? The answer is no. So does any of this mean, in all likelihood, this land would never be developed? Yeah, you're probably right. Or the city can build another park at which the city will receive no sales tax. As you know, sales tax is a major revenue source for local government, second only to property tax. So State Highway 146 and Meyer meet all the criteria for retail as previously discussed in the retail factors. So only the right decision is to build the police station at the city-owned debt-free property, which makes the most economic and prudent use of resources. I've heard other concerns from the council that having a police station at the traffic circle would be a deterrent and a safety issue. This is not true. Here's why.
Gary, time's up.
Okay. I only got a couple more.
All right, hurry up.
Location of the police station is key to the ability to serve the community. Citizens want to feel close to the station, accessible part of the neighborhood. Connection to the community more than before, integration and relationship, building the new space, community surrounding it. Do you know the police station located at 2855 Bay Area Boulevard, Houston, Texas, has a high school and Dobie ninth grade center, all of which are 3 minutes or a half a mile, over 20 years been there. The current police station, right behind us, has a Bay Elementary at its back door and a church within 0.2 miles. So why would we want to take 146 and Meyer and make it a police station and give up sales tax? In closure, council needs to consider all the factors before taxing the citizens of Seabrook on additional land debt when we have debt-free property. Thank you.
Thank you. Angela Cervantes.
Hi there, Angela Cervantes, 2534 Loganberry Circle. So Tonight I noticed on the agenda that you guys are going to be discussing an IDA with the port. I had to do a lot of research, but I learned that the port is trying to potentially disannex the property north of Friendship Park. This is alarming to me, and I have lived personally through a situation such as this. I want to play something real quick. So this sound is from my front door. This sound reverberated through my house. This sound was in effect 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 3 straight months. We emailed city council. I'm just going to leave it playing so you guys can hear what we dealt with and what we lived through. We emailed city council. We emailed Gail Cook. We called Seabrook PD. As kind as they were, we were told there's nothing they could do to help us. We pled with city council. We pled with Gail Cook. Reach out, work with whomever you need to. This is not a proper way for anybody to have to live 24/7, 3 months straight. So what we learned through FOIAs and through our own personal research is that the city of Seabrook gave the property that's owned by Gion away to Harris County many years ago, which is basically what the port is wanting to do with the disannexation of this property. Gail Cook never helped us. They used that as a cop-out to not help us. Ultimately, I received a letter from my son's teacher, concerned because around the same time that this noise started, my son was lethargic in school and she was worried about him, wanting to know if we had any dietary changes, anything that we had been doing differently. But the only correlation is this noise because his room is the most adjacent. Ultimately, because of the lack of assistance from the city that we pay our taxes to, I had to do a lot of research, find the information for the president of Gion, reach out to him myself, and send him the email from my son's teacher. Out of fear of a lawsuit, I think he finally started taking us seriously and made changes. But this is my personal experience with property being disannexed by the city of Seabrook. So know that that will be used as a cop-out, and if this happens, the port will use that property however they see fit, and no one will be able to stop them. So I'm asking y'all, when this discussion takes place, to please, most of you guys received my emails. Many of you never acknowledged or reached out to me while we were battling this, but please consider the nightmare that we lived through. I also didn't make note, but I wanted to talk about what the gentleman stated before me. For the record, I just want to put this to bed. That property is not at the circle. That property is on Lake Point Forest Drive, right smack in the middle, or not Lake Point, Lakeside Drive, right smack in the middle between a church, a daycare, an elementary school, and pretty much 360 degrees surrounded by homes. So let's just put that misspeak to rest because it's not an accurate statement. And even when people believed that it was at the circle, they voted it down. So with all of that being said, it's already been voted no by the taxpayers. Why are you still trying it there? So you're spending $40,000. You're going to try to push it there again, potentially. I feel like these meetings are just going to be nothing short of a sell-all. You guys just trying to sell it to us and tell us what you think we need because you know better. So I just wanted to address that as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Hank Kidd.
Mea culpa. I missed the deadline for signing up or applying for the stakeholder committee for the development or redevelopment of the sewer treatment plan. I thought I had submitted it. There was probably a question that didn't get answered, and I learned today that I was not on the list. And as soon as I got back to my office, I signed up and submitted my name. I hope it's not too late and hope that you will consider adding me to the list. And in fact, it's funny, Councilwoman Rasco sent me a message back before Christmas saying, hey, just FYI, someone from your family should be on this committee. And my response was, I've already signed up, but thank you, or something to that effect. And her response was great. So coming into the first of the year, I thought I was on the list. Learned this afternoon that I was not, and have since correctly submitted my name again. So, again, whatever help you can give me, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, Hank. Appreciate it. Okay. Item 1.1, Mayor, City Council, and our members of city staff may make announcements about city community events.
All right, we're going to have the town hall meeting on January the 8th at 6 to 8 p.m. in council chambers. At this time, a presentation regarding the swimming pool and the PD. It will also offer opportunities to tour the PD so you can have a firsthand look at our current situation. And then on January the 13th, an additional town hall meeting, same council chambers from 6 to 8. Same topics. You can have an opportunity to ask questions and present you both your sides. It's a good time to really get acquainted with what is being presented. And Wednesday, January the 15th, is Shred Day. It's at 6:30 p.m. I'm sorry, 4:30 to 6:30 at City Hall. So if you got some stuff that needs shredding, bring it on down. And then on Monday, January the 20th, the offices of the city will be closed for Martin Luther King Day.
Anybody else? Council? Thank you. 2.0 presentations. 2.1, presentation honoring and recognizing the retirement of longtime city employee Kevin Paget, Director of Public Works, for his hard work, loyalty, dedication, and accomplishments. Come on up, Kevin. Let me get something. Okay, we got a couple items, but I'd like to say a few words and of thank you, Kevin, for all that you've done. Kevin has faithfully served the city of Seabrook for over 33 years, showing exceptional leadership and dedication to our community. He began his career in 1992 as a maintenance worker and advanced through several roles, including utility operator, senior utility operator, utility supervisor, assistant public works director, and public works director in 2017, I'm sorry. Kevin earned numerous certificates such as backflow prevention, plumbing inspector license, pesticide applicator, pool and spa operator certification, and AA licenses in both water and wastewater. Under Kevin's leadership, important public works projects were completed, including the Public Works Complex, the wastewater plant relocation, the State Highway 146 expansion, utility relocation, alongside countless emergency repairs. Kevin helped grow the Parks Department, expanding the trail system, adding splash pads, and acquiring parks like Hester and Bremerhoff. Through many tropical storms and hurricanes, including Hurricane Ike, Kevin's commitment ensured essential services were maintained despite being away from his family. Kevin's wife Angela and their children Brooklyn and Kai have supported his career and shared with him the city throughout his service. As Kevin retires, we honor his remarkable service and dedication to Seabrook residents and express our deep gratitude for his legacy. In recognition of his extraordinary service, January 7th, 2025 is officially proclaimed Kevin Paget Day in Seabrook. And I would like to present a key to the city in honor of all your years of service. Again, thanks for all you've done. You want to say a few words? Sure.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, council, staff, residents of Seabrook. Really am humbled by the proclamation and the nice words there. You know, when I started here in 1992, I put in an application for a parks maintenance worker, received a message on my machine when I got home that I was selected and started soon after that. But worked in the parks for a while, worked in the streets for a while. I've worked in, as mentioned, water and sewer. I've done all the different tasks in the city. I worked at the wastewater plant for a bit. Was given the chance and the opportunity to work on my degree while I moved up within the city, and for that I'm forever grateful. Staff, my supporting staff gave me those opportunities, and for that I'm forever indebted and grateful. The city's afforded me a lot of things in my life, and my wife and children. At this time, we're looking to make a move out to the hill country is what our dream's always been. We own some small bit of land there, and that's our dream now, to make a new life there and start our next chapter. But countless residents, employees, staff all become family, and it's not, I never imagined standing here announcing that I'd be leaving the city. It's just not something that I necessarily want to do. It's just something I really considered a lot, and it actually changed my mind probably 100 times. I love it here. I'm grateful for everything that Seabrook has done for me. Seabrook was a town of 6,500 when I started here. Now we're approaching 15,000. NASA Road 1 had not yet been widened. Repsdorf hadn't been widened. 146 was only being talked about. Thankful that it's finally done. Monumental movement of the wastewater treatment plant to its new relocation is something that I'll probably be most proud of. But again, thanks for the staff and previous councils. There's a lot of them that I've worked with, previous mayors that have supported me. I ask that support continue to Public Works, because it's a really hard-working group, I know. And you can give Brian and Jesse all the same support you gave me to make them successful. That's what I'd ask. So, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, item 2.2. Presentation to recognize Snap Fitness Seabrook as the Seabrook Economic Development Corporation's Business of the Year Award for 2024. You want to come up, Paul? No, EDC gets your presentation. Where, is anybody here? Where's the people? Come on up. How are you? It's my pleasure to recognize Snap Fitness Seabrook as the Seabrook Business of the Year for 2024. Established 16 years ago, Snap Fitness has become a cornerstone of our community, offering 24/7 access to a state-of-the-art gym with personal training and nutritional guidance. Owners Chris Garcia and Mike Calvillo, alongside their dedicated team, have created a welcoming environment that fosters health and fitness for all. Snap Fitness is not only committed to its members, but also to the Seabrook community, sponsoring local teams, hosting community events, and supporting local businesses. Their recognition as Franchisee of the Year and hosting successful events like the Community Appreciation Event further highlight their commitment to excellence. With a goal-driven team and a passion for service, Snap Fitness has contributed to the growth of well-being for our residents, making Seabrook a better place to live. On behalf of the City of Seabrook, I proudly present this plaque to Snap Fitness Seabrook, a true reflection of what it means to be a pillar in our community. Thank you for all you do. Get some pictures. Get some pictures. Okay. Okay, item 3.0, consent agenda. Approve the minutes of the December 3rd, 2024 Seabrook City Council meeting.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
All in favor? It's unanimous, thank you. 4.0, boards and commissions. 4.1, consider and take all appropriate action of council member applications from Old Seabrook residents, business owners, and agency and board representative nominations for membership onto the Bayside Park Extension Stakeholder Group.
Mayor,
Gail?
with all the other committees, we always have a council liaison, 2 members that will interview them and take more time to go through the applications. And with 20, possibly 21, can we do that? Can we form 2 council liaisons instead of making the decision tonight, so we have a chance to interview these applicants?
Do we set up a board to review?
I'm thinking we should have done that last time, but I guess we didn't think about it.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion. Do we hear a second to that motion? All in favor? Okay, so do we want to take consideration of choosing a board to interview and make a recommendation?
If I could,
Okay.
I think we can go ahead and nominate our council member now. I'd like to nominate Tom Tollett to represent the council. And
We
then,
need 2.
Two counselors.
well, I've got one.
Okay.
But, and then, we can get one other, and they could serve as a liaison. Would that be okay?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Joe for the second person, if that's works.
Okay, we have 2 nominees. All in favor of any more nominees?
Mike and I just did the Hot Funds Committee last night, so that's why I'm not going to
Right.
try to put my name in the hat.
Okay, if there's no more nominees, all in favor? Okay, it's unanimous. Okay, 5.0, the bid awards. 5.1, approve the rejection of bids as only one bid received from RFP 2024-16-335, sidewalk removal and replacement project, and rebid using Civicast.
We received only one bid this is our 3rd year for our sidewalk program. We would really like to get more competition, so we would like to rebid using Civicast.
Move to approve 5.1.
A question here. Is there any reason we're not getting bids? Can you see any reason or just?
We had a lot of interest. I just don't know if what we use reaches enough in the Houston area, our current advertising process.
We already have a contractor replacing sidewalks.
Last year.
Oh, it's, that contract's up?
Every year, we have to renew the contract.
Oh, okay, all right. And that was he the only bidder?
Pardon?
Was that the only bidder we had, was the previous?
No, it's a whole new bidder. The previous bidder didn't bid.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Thank you. 5.2, consider and take all appropriate action on a bid award and execution of a contract for RFP 2024-08-336, Old State Highway 146 interconnect to Bulge Construction LLC, not to exceed $510,911.
For this project, we did receive 9 bids. The 3 lowest bidders were looked at. The low bidder, Cobb Finley and us, we felt that they weren't experienced enough and they didn't have enough background to do this type of project. So we're recommending, along with Cobb Finley, to go with Bulge Construction. They've done previous projects for the city. They've done a pretty good job.
Move to approve 5.2.
All in favor? Thank you. Thanks, Kevin, or thanks, Brian. 6.0, old business. 6.1, hear a presentation and consider and take all appropriate action on options from Progressive Commercial Aquatics regarding the Seabrook Pelican Bay pool designs.
We have Stephen with Landmark Aquatic. He's going to run through a presentation, kind of give us where we're at currently. I can do the slides.
Hi, everyone. I'm Steven Salskar with Progressive Commercial Aquatic, also known as Landmark Aquatic. Thank you for your time today. And this is my coworker, Stephanie. I'll let her introduce herself. She's a member of the city as well. So.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Manugian. I am the outside sales rep for the Seabrook territory, and just here to help Stephen with the presentation. Nice to meet you.
So you may recall I was out here last summer to present regarding a facility assessment that I put together, so I'm not going to harp on that too much, but we've since proceeded into conceptual design phase for the Pelican Bay Aquatic Center. So with Brian's help, we put together a community survey that we collected results from, and I've sort of overviewed this here. So that survey was conducted back in May of 2024. We had 188 respondents who were primarily residents of Seabrook. There wasn't a specific age group that really stood out, but the largest respondent group was ages, I believe, 35 to 44, which seems to indicate parents, people that are attending the facility with children, which you can see in the next tab, but on the results of how often they visited. So most people indicated they either visited monthly or rarely, with less than 10 respondents indicating that they visited the facility on a daily basis. But out of that group, 90% indicated they were interested moving forward in leisure and recreational space at the aquatic facilities. So splashing, play activities, spray features. You've got a splash pad there right now, which is in pretty good shape. So that's starting to satisfy that requirement, but we wanted to look at, okay, what can we do to further the aquatic facility with the spaces that you have, the support spaces you have right now. There's a small sort of community recreational indoor space. So I think Brian and his team are looking at that with another architecture team. But overall, the results of the survey indicated, okay, we want open water swim for recreation and leisure. There's a community swim interest, a competitive swim interest, as well as some water basketball and volleyball, so sort of athletics and sport. If possible, we'd like to retain a slide element, which I think we've incorporated nicely using a play structure in a beach apron, and I'll get to that here in a second, as well as including as much shade as possible. And then from an operational perspective, is there a way that we can have a season pass for residents? I think right now it's operating on a daily entrance fee. So that's further down the line, but a discussion to be had. So what we did was come up with 3 concepts of varying scope: small, medium, and large. Rough budgets have been collected and discussed with Brian's team, and then we've come back with some concepts, which we'll get to here in the form of a rendering. And then I want to stress that the concepts and renderings that you'll be shown aren't the final design. There's a little bit of wiggle room and, the way we progress the final construction documents, but they are a good indication of, okay, what are we looking at in terms of, the amenities of the facility. So without further ado, I'll get into the conceptual renderings. So option A is bare bones, essentially what you've got right now, destruction of, or demolition of all the concrete space behind the splash pad. So the splash pad would be refurbished. The finish itself would be sandblasted down to bare concrete substrate and replaced with a new finish to make it look nice and bright and colorful. All of the features themselves would be refurbished as well, so they would be bright. They're in good shape right now, so I don't think there's a reason to replace those in their entirety. But we do need a new disinfectant system on the splash pad mechanicals to satisfy code, so that would be included in this option. And then coming back with a brand new 6-lane, 25-yard lap pool of varying depths. You can see at a different angle here, as well as the shade structures there are shown as a representation, but they aren't necessarily the final design. There's some different shapes that we can incorporate, but for the purposes of this rendering, they're shown in general areas that we'd like to include them. And I want to also say that all these options have the ability to be phased. So if we do come back with a feature leisure pool, which you'll see in some of the subsequent options, then those can be included in some of the space in this image farther out or near where those 3 shade structures are. There will be a little bit more open space. So the goal is to satisfy competitive swim. We can include some water basketball elements and maybe even a climbing wall on that deep portion of the lap pool. And then you'd have 6 lanes of 25-yard for lap swimming and starting blocks as well. So that option is slated between 2.6 million and 3 million for demolition of the existing facility, which is out of code, as I had previously mentioned in the other meeting that we had, but would come back with a 6-lane 25-yard lap pool and again refurbishment of the splash pad that you have right now. So moving on to option B, start to include the the leisure pool that you see on the north side of that site plan. So there's a large beach entry or zero depth entry that you see, which is accessible for wheelchairs and really a nice to have for children as they can walk in and sort of immerse themselves in the water. And there's a play structure shown there that you could climb on. There's little water guns, stuff like that to, as an interactive element for younger kids. And then that progresses down into an intermediate water depth that we haven't fully fleshed out yet, but, would have enough to submerge yourself in the water, as well as approximately 6-inch deep, what we'd call a tanning ledge or a wet deck on the south side of that leisure pool, where you could include some chaise lounges, and people could lay out and sunbathe, and then you'd have the same 6-lane 25-yard lap pool on the south side of that site, so or planned south as we're looking at it, as well as again shade structures that could be included in varying forms. We've allotted some of that in the budget to be able to change that around, and then in all options will include refurbishment of the existing splash pad. So that option is 3.6 to 4 million. I should have mentioned that all of this is prefaced upon conducting a geotechnical report of the site. Being this close to water, we'd want to take soil samples and get a report done so that we know what we're coming back with. Right now, the pools have settled quite a bit and shifted up and down because of the water table over time rising and falling. And so that range of the budget is meant to account for the different structural design that we may have to include depending on the results of a geotechnical assessment when we progress further into design. So option C is a larger leisure pool. That lap pool is again consistent across all 3 options. It's considerably larger. You have a beach apron that extends all throughout or all around sort of the a quarter circle of that pool, and you have a play structure as well as the opportunity to include some more ground sprays or elevated spray features that you already have on the splash pad, but throughout that side, or the planned north side of the leisure pool. And then you've got the 6-inch tanning ledge on the back side of that pool. Again, more space for usually, parents to lounge and watch kids as they play in an intermediate depth of water. So that's, again, a larger leisure pool. We're looking at 4.4 to 5 million. I want to mention also that the minimum time frame, including design, and we predict a geotechnical report would be about 36 months. So in order to accomplish this, including demolition, all of that, we need to, depending on the time frame, allot for about 36 months worth of time, or 36 weeks, excuse me, it's 9 months of time. I'm sorry, 36 weeks, excuse me, of time. So I'd like to open it up for questions from anyone.
So how many lanes was the old pool?
6 lanes.
It was 6.
25
okay.
yards.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'd be coming back with that same, amount of lane space. Where we can play around with it right now is you've got a pretty shallow depth across the pool, and then it's an L shape, L configuration that goes into a deeper end where you used to have a plunge zone for a slide. But we would recommend it just including a deep end where you've got the starting blocks on the on the closer side as we're looking at it.
Does any of these costs include the cabanas?
Yes, yes, those all include the cost of shade structures. The only thing that it doesn't include is, and that I should mention, it's not shown in the rendering, but it would include new fencing as well, those costs. But it doesn't include the structure for the new mechanical system. It includes all the pool mechanicals, relocation of the existing mechanical system, but we have proposed a shade structure over the mechanical system. At one point, we were talking about maybe working with the architecture or the team who's redesigning the support spaces, sort of shown on the left here. But now we're just going to go back with a shade structure, so that's going to increase it, but I don't think it's going to be significant here. And I think
Including restrooms, is that correct?
No, this doesn't include the restrooms or those spaces.
I thought we were going to separate the splash pad and the pool so we could have them open separately since the pool's only open. Is that not part in here, or?
So right now you have a fence that is on the backside, or it's a small fence that is on the backside of the splash pad. I don't know how recently you've been out there, but it sort of separates where you've got the kiddie pool and the splash pad, and we could easily incorporate a fence in that area to section it off so that you could have the splash pad open for future use. But considering the space that we're going to have to excavate to remove the existing pools, it was difficult to re-plan the entire site such that, and I think from the building side, that might require moving the buildings around. So I'm not sure if that's.
I think putting a fence around the kiddie pool and separating it shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. And then, so this is the existing splash pad, no changes to it, just the disinfection?
And it would include, resurfacing of that circular area that you see there, and then refinishing, repainting all the features themselves. And they probably need to be recalibrated as well to get the proper flow, but that's very minimal work that needs to be done. But the sprays themselves right now seem to be in good shape.
Yeah, I don't think they're that old, so hopefully. All right, thank you.
So between option B and C, the sandy beach pools, what's the size? How many gallons is that one compared to C?
They're pretty similar. It's really a measure of the, sorry about that, a measure of the water depth. So this pool, while it's larger in square footage, is actually less volume because you've got a little bit more shallow space here. And it's intended to be sort of a beach pool, a wading pool, if you will. Whereas this one goes down to a little bit deeper water space. So I don't know exactly what the difference is. I would guess it's probably in the range of 30 to 40,000 gallons of water. We had intended to make sure that the mechanical systems required for both pools would be almost the same. I mean, the same horsepower rating for the pumps, filters would be very similar in size. And then the lap pool, as I mentioned, is a stable across all three options.
Well, these are, you've indicated fabric-type shade structures.
Yes.
Is that, would it make more sense to have a more permanent type structure for maintenance and longevity? I mean, we're going to be replacing this fabric.
Kind of like the shade, the fabric shade structure.
You do?
They're more easy. They filter out most of the sunlight, but they're also permeable to wind, so they don't degrade as much.
Okay, yeah, all right.
What is their temporary, how long do they hold that?
I'd say 10 years, 10, 15 years.
The fabric? Okay. And if we incorporated the slide, where would we put that one?
So,
I mean, the slide one is one of the most popular things out there.
understood there. If we were to come back with a slide, we would carve out, I think, some of the space in the lap pool. But as we went through design discussions, it didn't make its way into these concepts, but we could look at including
just-
that would, of course, affect, the budget number that I've given. But there is space here. You could, section off 3 of these lap lanes, and we've got plenty of depth here for a plunge zone for a slide.
Okay. Any other questions, council? So what are we looking for here?
Will they be there,
Just a presentation? Okay.
will they be there tomorrow at the town hall meeting?
What's that?
Will y'all be there tomorrow at the town hall meeting?
I can be here.
We have 2 town hall meetings to discuss.
Yeah,
I think that would be nice.
Appreciate it. Okay, so there's no action taken.
Mayor and council, let me go ahead and add also, part of the challenge with this project, it'll pop up here in a minute, is what to do with the front of the structures as well. The city facility is challenging, like some in town, where we've got in 1960 structure with the restroom. So there was a question about the restrooms. We subcontracted with another architect to try to figure out not beating the FEMA requirements and having to elevate those and be able to utilize what we have. That's proved that it's going to be almost impossible to do. So the rendering that you see here would also be an option that we would add into the package to at least improve the facade going into it, and then also do minor improvements to the restroom areas. If you toured the buildings when you were out there, when the slide came down, you've noticed that there is going to need to be some upgrades and cleanup on the buildings. But actually elevating the restrooms would be a considerable cost out there with the ADA requirements. So this is right now the facade option that we would add to what you've seen tonight.
Okay. I actually had another question on the pools, but I think you can answer it.
Sure, I can try.
Well, option A does not have any ADA accessibility, right?
So ADA for pools under 300 linear feet,
It's
which,
just a lift?
yes, it would be satisfied by a permanent fixed pool lift. So you'd have to have accessibility to that lift by means of
Right.
a slope compliant pool deck. But yeah, access into the lap pool would be served by
But B is more accessible. B and C are more.
the leisure pools, yes.
Yeah, the lap pool, right, the
Yeah.
lap pool, I understand.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so there is no action taken on 6.1. 6.2, consider and take all appropriate action on the extension of agreement between the City of Seabrook and Driver and Rescue Club LLC, leasing of the property located at 2613.5 NASA Parkway, operating as a yard at Barge 295, for the continuation of temporary conditional exceptions to various codes and ordinances and providing for an extended period of 6 months.
Yes, Mayor and Council, I requested this be put on. Before Christmas, I went out and visited the yard, had an extended visit with Patrick. We toured the facility, and they really made some great strides, but there's still some things to be done. They've been struggling with the fact of competition for qualified craftspeople to come in and do the work, thanks to Beryl. And so anyway, long story short, what needs to be done and how they're operating now, I figure that if we just put in another 6 months, that would give them plenty of time to do it without pressure, do it right, get the whole thing done. So I move that we extend the agreement for another 6 months.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
7.0, new business. Consider and take all appropriate action on Resolution 2025-01 expressing finance expenditures to be incurred relating to the Seabrook Police Station and Seabrook Pelican Bay Pool. Resolution expressing intent to finance expenditures to be incurred.
Mayor and Council, this resolution's brought to you before as the coupling with the bond election, if that were to be approved. In our past bond elections, we are able to put in some of the pre-designed cost into the bond program and put in all together. So, but you have to make sure that you do a resolution before the bond election takes place. So this would be a little bit ahead if council is in agreement that we would be able to earmark these going into those expenses. And this is right now at the bottom of this resolution, as you will note, the 1.5 is not tied specifically. This would be between the two projects of police station, any design, pre-design costs that we've been incurring, also along with the pool as well. So this would be a not to exceed number, not necessarily a static number, but this was just an estimate.
Okay. Do I hear a motion? Any questions, council?
We're not even close to that 1.5 though, right?
No.
Okay, okay.
No, and that would also, you know, for instance, if council wanted to, that could even, with the description, dive into going ahead and demolishing the pool to be ready for once the design is done, you're ahead of the curve and being able to start construction, so.
Okay.
Okay, I move to approve 7.1.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. 7.2, consider and take all appropriate action on Resolution 2025-02 designating the city's official newspaper. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Seabrook, Texas, designating the city's official newspaper pursuant to Section 11.12 of the Charter of the City of Seabrook for publication of all ordinances, notices, and/or matter.
Move to approve 7.2.
Discussion?
I was asking Rachel today about this, and I think it's antiquated, but apparently it's a legal requirement, so I didn't know that. And hopefully we're going the cheapest route.
Yeah, I asked if we could do it electronically, and you can't.
Right.
But it's because of somebody being sick on the other newspaper?
Right, so the Bay Area Observer is our local that we've been using designated. She is a small shop. She is not able to publish right now, and we're not sure if her publication will come back. So we had numerous notifications that we needed to get published. The Citizen is our next one that is circulated in this area, and we're hopeful that she will come back. She is a very good partner and very affordable option for a small city. So I hope that it does come back, but the Citizen would be the next one that we would guarantee that circulates and meets the state requirements.
Okay.
So my question is what happens, because this is what's happening with newspapers. I mean, everybody knows it, so what happens when there are no newspapers? That's going to have to be addressed. So, Mr. Attorney, what is the answer?
It'll be by the legislature.
Well, hopefully our state legislature will take that into consideration and change notice requirements before that happens.
Yeah, it's a state law. Okay. We have a motion and a second. Mm-hmm. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Thank you. 7.3, consider and take all appropriate action on Resolution 2025-03 for acceptance of the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program Subaward DR 4485-0142 for Seabrook Fire Station Generator. A resolution of the City of Seabrook, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Seabrook authorizing the city manager to accept the FEMA Hazard Mitigation Grant Program subaward from the Texas Department of Environmental Management and to execute all subsequent grant agreements associated with the HMGP grant, DR 4885-0142, City of Seabrook Fire Station Generator, authorizing the city manager to execute the award letter attached hereto as Exhibit A, authorizing the city manager to take all necessary steps to proceed with the project.
Any questions, Mayor, Council?
Move to approve 7.3.
All in favor? I don't think we'd ever turn down a grant. Here we go again. 7.4, consider and take all action on Resolution 2025-04 of HMGP grant application submittal for severe weather DR 4781 outdoor early warning system.
Move to approve 7.4.
Any questions, council?
This is for like tornado sirens, basically, right?
So it will encompass everything.
Okay.
Tornadoes, the plants.
Chemicals?
Wonderful.
Anything that we need to set the alarm off for to notify the residents.
That's awesome. Okay.
All in favor? Thank you. 7.5, consider and take all appropriate action on Resolution 2025-05 for HMPG grant. Application submittal for Hurricane Barrel DR 4798 for NASA waterline relocation.
Move to approve 7.5.
Any questions? Any questions? All in favor? Thank you. Do we have executive session? 8.0, executive session. 8.1, executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.0. Close executive session to consult with the city attorney on legal issues associated with the industrial district agreements. We are adjourned at 6:57. Okay, we've returned from executive session. No action was taken.
It's dark right now.
10.0 routine business, 10.1 city manager update to report city council on various items that require no action, including Seabrook boards and commissions, transportation projects, and the Seabrook City CIP projects. Gail?
Mayor and Council, just a brief update on the transportation projects. We are still working with out for the 146 expansion. And we've got some checkpoint items as far as the painting, trying to get some additional dates and timelines on the painting. But as promised, these last few things on the project are hard to get the contractors to come back and finish. So we've got the painting. We do, if you've noticed on the landscaping project, we've got numerous tree beds that are still yet to go. And we also have, I think a lot of you have spoke on this, but we've got some trees that were planted along the corridor that are now underneath Centerpoint lines. Those lines were never identified in the original project, so those will now be taken out. We're looking to see if TxDOT will approve and possibly let us relocate them down to the Red Bluff intersection instead of getting rid of them. But everything that's under a High Line, if there's any question, those will start to be removed. The camp at Red Bluff and 146 is on the last stages of decommissioning. In that section is a reforestation project with the project, so that will start to go underway. Red Bluff and Toddville is still closed, so Public Relations will be sending out, along with Public Works, the closure update, but we are at the last stage of the wastewater treatment plant. So Pine Gully, that segment, there was a repair that they had to do. That is almost complete, hopefully by next Tuesday. I think Public Works left. By next Tuesday is the time that we're looking at right now. Once that water line and those dirt goes back on, that's the last piece. So next week will actually be a very monumental piece for the community. I've talked with Kevin and Brian, and hopefully I'll get word, but once that's covered up and the valve is turned, we will have 100% flows from the Pine Gully wastewater plant. So plan to make a little hoopla on that, but it's phenomenal that we're at this stage. And then will be no flows going through the existing plants at all. Any questions? CIP projects, there's really not much movement at this point. I'll take any questions that you guys have.
Well, the Red Bluff construction on the bridge has ceased on the new section. I mean, they haven't been back in months. I don't think they're doing any work north of there. I haven't seen any crews in the last,
I've seen them in the mornings.
I don't.
On Red Bluff at the, on over Taylor Lake?
Yeah.
Am I adding
No,
the
not over
lane?
Taylor Lake, over 146.
Yeah, I've definitely seen them within months. I mean,
I haven't seen them in months.
So we are on a monthly call with the rail spur, and I guess I can disclose to you guys that there's some frustration. You've got the Port of Houston working on the rail spur, you've got a TxDOT crew, and then you've got Centerpoint, you've got the county out there, and there's a bunch of people in that intersection working. They are asking for, what's the timeline? So it's a good indicator to us. We're not the only entity in the mix trying to ask where are they at, when are they coming back? Port was asking, and right now there's not a good answer. I'll definitely reach out to the new camp at Williams Brothers and see if I can get any further update on when they're going to start working on the overpass section again. I mentioned this in a previous report, but with the rail spur that's going in on the north side of town, there are 2 quiet zones on your frontage roads. So we had an outage yesterday on the light, and I haven't confirmed it, but they are looking at doing the imminent, or the system, sorry, it's left me, but there's a system that will trigger when the train comes through that will make that a quiet zone. They have to get the connectivity back to that box that's underneath Red Bluff overpass over there. And then they're also going to go through a testing measure. At some point, they'll let us know, and those arms will start working, and we'll do a test probably for a 24-hour period to make sure that that's working as well.
I have a couple questions. I'll start with the little one. The calendars for the city. This is, I think, the second year that they haven't been out before January. Is there a delay?
We've checked with the printers today. There was a glitch on the printer that we use, so we should have them, I think, within the next week.
Okay, because it's like feels a little late. But the other thing is, I really noticed that yesterday, which I should have noticed sooner, but we lost all those businesses on the east side, of 146. I mean, Tookies down to Sonic and everything in between. And they didn't even use any of that property, right?
So on most tracks, they sliced it in half, which the frontage
They did?
road. So like on Sonic, if you look back on old aerials, you'll see how big the Sonic track was. It was sliced in half.
Okay, that makes me feel better, because I really thought that they didn't use any, and I was like, why would they do that?
Everyone.
Okay.
Including the drugstore and all of that. They were lost, the sporting goods.
Marburgers.
Our burgers.
That was all cut down.
Okay. And then the last thing I'd like is to put on the next, I guess I'll do that in a minute, but I want to talk about communication and how we can do better, and I think we have a whole lot of work. We've got a lot of, I don't see her post on Facebook at all, and that's like the main following that we have. And, I mean, we don't have anything posted about the town hall meeting tomorrow even, and that's just crazy to me. So I'd like to put that on the agenda for next time to discuss in more depth about how we can do better. That's all I got.
Okay. Anyone else? Do we hear a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, no. Future meeting dates and agenda items.
Mayor and council, the next regular city council meeting will be held on January 21st, 2025.
Do I,
Move to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor? We are adjourned at 8:33. Buddy,
I mean, no, Buddy initiated who seconded?
Joe.
Joe? Okay, I couldn't tell. I heard it.